Well, let me say though, that what I want to bring out today, the only thing really that I want to bring out today, other things will come out, but is that I think what's bothering me the most and what's bothered me for a long time, but more intensely now, is I'm continually being asked to unsee things that I see. And this week is especially bad. So I'm being asked to unsee what happened in Venezuela and to see it from a different perspective that doesn't seem true to me about not what we did, but why we did it, right? And that it's a good thing that we did. And that in the end, Venezuelans will be better off. All that may be true, but that's not what happened. That's not what this is about. This is about oil. This is about the wealthy sucking even more out of the world's resources than they already have, and they already have far more than they need, but their taste is insatiable. They can't get enough, you
Mhm.
know? And I'm being asked not to see that. We just had the anniversary to January 6th.
Did you see what the White
All
House put
over.
on did you see what the White House put on the website about
I,
January 6th?
that's what I'm talking about. So that's why I wanted to talk so badly today is they're revisiting history. It's called revisionist history. But what you and I sat in our sunroom together.
The only thing I would say is it's revisionist history, not towards getting the history right, because Malcolm Gladwell does revisionist history in order to make the history closer to what it really was.
Yeah.
They're doing revisionist history totally in an attempt to rewrite it in favor of their ideological commitments
Yeah.
and their movement. They're doing it for power.
Yeah. Yeah. But I saw it. I I saw this happening in real time. This
Yeah.
this insurrection. I heard Donald Trump's words. I heard Sean Hannity talking about how Trump wasn't doing anything. And he called Trump to say, you got to do something. Trump didn't do anything for 2, 3 hours
Mhm.
while these Capitol policemen and other people. I'm listening now to people talk about how there were 200 FBI agents in that crowd of 2,000 who were the agitators. Those are
Mhm.
all lies.
Mhm.
Being asked to accept them. I'm being told
Mhm.
to. And they're rewriting history. But what bothers me is they're asking me to unsee what I've seen and to accept a different reality. And that's why I'm struggling so much with my faith tradition right now, Josh, because
That's
that's
right.
exactly what I've been asked to do my whole life. Ignore my experience in the world
Mhm.
and accept this alternative reality about a God who is good and gracious and all powerful and active in the world, active in my life.
Mhm.
And yet I see little or no evidence of that in reality.
Mhm.
So I want to be able to name that, reclaim some things about my faith tradition that I can, with integrity, hang on to,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
because otherwise I'm going to end up having to leave it all go. And I don't want to do that. That would be very painful for me to do.
Mhm.
But that's my issue. And this week has brought it so forcefully into my very being.
Mhm.
And we had the same thing in Israel, Palestine, Josh. We would bring people there, and you especially would take them into the West Bank and show them things and have
Mhm.
them listen to people. And folks would say, what do I do with that now? Because what I've seen
Mhm.
doesn't correspond to what I've been told. How do
Mhm.
I unsee this? Well, you can't unsee what you've seen, but the problem is that's exactly what we're being asked to do in our religion
Mhm.
and now in our, I mean, this isn't even history 5 years ago. I
Mhm.
mean, it is and it isn't, right? We were
Yeah.
all there. We saw it. And yet we're being told that was not an insurrection. It wasn't violent. Nobody got hurt.
Well, just a quick, like, let me give you like a heads up on a thought on Christianity. Um, if you can create mass delusion amongst people about reality, about what actually happened in reality, in which there's video evidence for it that people can watch right now, is it really so hard to believe that a religion could start based on not lies, but things that didn't really happen in reality?
Yeah.
Like, is it really so hard to believe that Jesus didn't rise from the dead, but that desire for them was so strong that they had sort of a weird event in which they thought Jesus was alive, or they thought they were having an experience of Jesus? That's what they wanted. They wanted him to be alive again. And that's how this whole thing got started. I mean, it's really not very hard to believe that a major thing that we think must be real because of the way people reacted at that time, right? We say, like, oh, they gave their lives for, nobody would die for a lie. Ashley Babbitt literally died for a lie 5 years ago on January 6th in front of our faces.
Yeah.
She was lied to, and she lost her life because of it. She was the person shot
Yeah.
by a Capitol Police officer. So it's helped me realize that even things that seem like it couldn't possibly be true, that this religion, these things that we think must have happened in history, didn't happen, that they were mistaken. They were deluded about the fact that Jesus rose again from the dead. They just wanted it bad. It was like a mass delusion on their part. And it started a movement, and the movement gained steam anyways. I mean, it's just not very hard for me to believe that anymore,
Yeah.
based on having seen a world in which verifying what actually happened really couldn't be easier. And ideology beats out reality so often.
Yeah, that's right.
So this is what's happening. It's like, what's more important, reality or ideology? In the conservative movement, that question is easy to answer. It's ideology every time. You never give priority to reality unless it matches the ideology you carry. If it requires you to change some deep belief, held belief you have, you stick with the belief and you deny reality.
Right. Right. Well,
That's what you
let me
have to
give
do right
you,
now.
yeah, let me give you an example out of Islam. Having lived in Jerusalem for a bunch of years and mostly living in an area almost entirely populated by Muslims
Mhm.
and interacting with them every day, listening to them, they believe that Muhammad
Mhm.
got on a winged horse named
Amen.
Lightning, and
What was
that
the
horse,
name? I talked over you there. What was the name of the horse again? I forget.
Lightning.
Yeah.
I used to know the Arabic word for it. I think it
I was gonna
means
say-
light. And ended up on the Temple Mount.
Well,
Um,
wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
at
I guess
that
it was
time,
still the Temple Mount at that time,
yeah,
just in ruins, basically,
yeah, it was
right?
in ruins, and where the
Beginning of this is the
temple is in
600s.
Jerusalem. Yep.
Six, yeah,
And
early.
that winged horse took him there, and there he rose up to seventh heaven, where he
Mhm.
was given the five pillars for
Well, he
Islam.
was definitely given the instruction to pray 5 times. I don't know if all 5 pillars came in that
Uh,
or not. Alcohol came in that one, right? And he was given a choice between milk and,
milk and wine, and he chose
yeah.
milk
So
and
that's that one. Pray
real.
5 times a day was in there because he
Yep,
did, like, the story is he had like a negotiation between him
yep,
and, like, he went down to Abraham or Moses and they were like, that's too many. And then he settled
yep.
on 5. Those are the two I remember. I don't remember if the, like, there is, I think we already had like the principal one, which is there is no God but God and Allah his prophet. I don't think that came in that vision, but I
No,
don't
I think
remember.
that my point is that if you ask the normal Muslim if he believes that's true, they would
Hmm.
say yes. Do you believe that's true? Well, no. Of course, you weren't raised in the tradition. You weren't
Right.
you weren't groomed in a sense.
Correct.
You believe what you were told as a child, and then you grow up and you start to question these things and you're told, well, you can't do that either. Then you don't know what to do then because, and there's millions of us that are in that position. We're like, no, we love the religion of our childhood. We have good memories of being in church as a kid, all of
Mhm.
that stuff. And yet we're at that point now with some of the things you've told us we have to believe, we don't believe. And then what do you say to us? Well, you have to. And we say, but I don't. Yeah, but you
Mhm.
have to. Yeah, but I don't. Well, then you have to pretend you do. I can't do that and live with myself. That's where I'm at. So
Mhm.
then where? So that's why, I mean, this is an important forum for me now that you and I have got feel more free to just say this is where we're at and
Yeah.
screw whatever comes from that, take our masks off. And if there's
Yeah.
anybody out there like us, let them join us.
Mhm.
Because what we're trying to do is live in reality and create a better world through living in reality rather than um, uh, shoveling our crap, under the mat.
Mhm.
It still smells, right? I mean, the Phil Yancey thing still smells whether you shovel it under the mat by talking about grace or not. January 6th is happened, and you can pretend all you want it wasn't what it was. We can see it. If we don't live in that reality, I think we're screwed, doomed.
Definitely.
And how do
That's
we
how I
then,
feel.
Josh? I'd like you to address this because I know you're at a different place than I am with trying to deal with religion and
Yeah.
Christianity. And
Yeah.
that's the good thing about this.
Mhm.
We trust each other enough to push back without fear we're going to lose a relationship. Not true in a lot of instances for me, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do with this tension that you feel about what you know, what you've been told your whole life that you have to believe and have tried to believe it and have even preached it thousands of times.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then now finally saying, yeah, but there things don't work for me in this. They
Mhm.
just don't.
Mhm.
So, but I don't want to leave that world. So
Mhm. Mhm.
now,
Yeah, I think I wonder about, for me, I'm happy to leave it. This
yeah,
is the big difference. Like I'm like, and when I say happy to leave it, I mean that literally. Like it makes me happy to not be in it anymore, to not have to play that game, to
right.
not even be interested in it anymore, to see how silly it is. The games we were playing with the Bible and with theology and with science and trying to make it all work. Like, I, I have no interest in doing that anymore. And I don't know that there's probably no shortcut to getting to a place that feels comfortable. Um, and the difficulty for me is like, I know I can say that for me, leaving entirely and not trying to make anything work anymore is the solution that works for me.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's hard for me to imagine a solution of 1 foot in, 1 foot out and have it feel good
yeah,
or not conflicting,
yeah,
not feeling like you're holding on to a ton of contradictions that are hard to hold on to. I am increasingly skeptical of that being sort of a healthy way to deal with what we now understand about reality and about religion. I think I did that for like the last 10 years, essentially. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Um, Mainly because I was working within an organization that required me to have a foot in, I think. But probably also I needed more time to feel comfortable to entirely leave that paradigm.
right,
Um,
right.
I think the beginning is the beginning and probably the middle is mostly um, conversation with trusted people, finding more community amongst people who are willing to have those conversations, and less time and energy spent with people who are not, because they're always going to try and pull you back in,
Mhm, mhm,
sort
mhm.
of constantly. And that is, I think, detrimental to the process. Constantly pulled back in some way, going to church, listening to someone preach, reading the Bible. I'm not sure those things are really beneficial for people who are in this sort of in between space, because it doesn't give you sort of a full sense of what it's like to be totally out of it and what that would feel like. Um, I think Atheism for Lent was something I did from Peter Rollins a number of years ago. And sort of the intent of that is to say, like, you can live like an atheist for a couple months and think about what atheists think about the criticisms of religion, and see what that's like. And it doesn't, maybe that's less scary for some people. It's just kind of an experiment. I'm experimenting with not believing any of this stuff anymore and not engaging with any of it anymore.
Yeah.
Um, that was a little more intentional because it was also like I'm actually listening to active critiques of religion. So it's deeper than just not doing anything anymore. Um, I mean, I guess that's what comes to mind.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it because I think that's right. That's kind of where it is for me, and I'm all right with it. I have people in my life like you, and of course, mom and my spouse Sally, and my brother and his
Hmm.
wife T, friends, many of whom
Hmm.
are still in church like me, one foot in, one foot out,
Hmm.
trying to make it work still because they have this affection for the institution, no matter how sick that may seem to some people. There's an affection there, so that's helpful to me because I don't feel alone in this struggle. I'm finally at that point where I want to take my mask off and be
Hmm.
more transparent and vulnerable about where I'm at and see who's
Hmm.
with and who's gracious enough to stay with me regardless or not. I mean, that's where I'm at. And that's what this is about too, you and I, now that we're in a new year and you're no longer working for that institution where you have to be more careful. We can say this is
Hmm.
where
Yeah.
I'm finally unfettered. That's what I said. I'm unfettered too. I don't have any loyalty to any church anymore, any congregation. You
Yeah.
know, I care about pastors a great deal. I wish I could be more helpful to
This is
pastors
a, this, is, yeah.
because I think
I,
they're struggling with some of these same things as I was for years. This isn't like some new thing. This has been slipping away from me for years now. But there was a game to play and I was good at it, really good
mhm.
at it. So I played that game for my own gain. I didn't
I
jump
think
on the wagon for LGBTQ, for example,
because of
until
the game,
I was, huh?
because it was going to hurt you in the game. Or do you
Absolutely.
think it was because you didn't have the conviction yet?
No, no, I had the conviction
Okay.
30 years ago.
Yeah.
I just,
I think what I'm struggling with, like specifically today, and probably have been for the entire year, is just a lot of anger. I mean, it probably is coming through and has come through since we started talking, but I am extremely angry. Like bordering, I mean, if whatever rage feels like for me, I think that's what I feel right now today. And some of that rage, a good deal of it, is directed at the church and Christianity and Judaism and Islam and the
yeah,
United States and Israel and all these countries, Islamic countries that oppress women and children. And I'm, it's unacceptable to me that our country has a government that doesn't respect the Constitution, doesn't respect domestic law, it doesn't respect just the basic decency of people, doesn't respect international law, doesn't respect human rights, right? They were migrants to the United States seeking asylum, these men that we sent to a torture prison in El Salvador. That was like a long time ago.
Mhm.
Those men have been freed, thankfully. Most of them were sent back to Venezuela. Some of them are back here in the U.S. like Kilmore Abrego Garcia. So it's like I think where we differ when I hear you talk about pastors is I'm angry at pastors. That's where I'm at. I'm angry at them. I'm disappointed in them. I'm finding them extremely cowardly. I imagine that again this Sunday, the vast majority of them will have nothing to say about the lawlessness of this administration, even after it killed a young woman in cold blood. Do you think this ICE agent will face consequences for killing that woman? Do you think he will go to jail?
No more than I thought any IDF person would be brought to trial for the atrocities, for the murder of children in Gaza. I
And do
mean,
you think the majority of Christians will continue to support the administration that acts in these ways?
yes, I'm afraid so. I think here's the thing I think they don't know what, I think winning is more important and has been for a long time to the conservative Christian movement and the conservative movement in general. Winning is more important than anything else. And when you have that mentality, like some football coaches, for example, University of Michigan, you Michiganders won't like this, but you cheated and you made excuses for your coach for having cheated. You won a national championship because you cheated. Now, you've maybe had the best team too, but you cheated and you don't come to terms with that. You're in denial about that. And yet, some of you, you know who you are, you're all over Trump and all of this for their corruption and for covering it up and for accepting it. Well, this has to go across the board. And we're just turning a blind eye. And again, it's the same thing with Harbaugh and University of Michigan and their title they won. We all saw what happened, but we're being asked to either not see it or to pretend it didn't matter.
Hmm.
For me, that's just an example of what's happening across the board. And I won't do that anymore. I can't do that anymore in my last 10 or 15 years of my life. I'm not doing that anymore. What I see, I'm going to name
Hmm.
as best I
Same.
can with grace. I have
So I mean,
more
I
sadness than anger,
yeah,
but sadness can mask anger. Anger can mask sadness.
definitely,
So I'm
definitely.
conflicted about how I feel about, because there's a difference between the church and a church for me. There are churches that are trying in certain areas to um, call out these
Definitely.
matters. And we'll preach about this on Sunday morning. There'll be the vast minority.
The
And
vast
it won't
minority.
be the big churches.
They will not be big churches.
It won't be any of those.
Mm-mm.
They'll be the small, progressive. Your cousins will talk about it on Sunday
Hmm.
in Ames, Aaron, because that's who he is. He's free to do it. But they're in, and yet I get it because I did the same thing with the queer issue. I jumped on board with women in ministry early, but
Hmm.
not with
I
LGBT.
think, I think the other thing that's difficult for me is like I chose not to lie about what I knew,
Yeah,
and I chose to lose my job over it essentially and to do something else. So I chose integrity over money and over financial gain, over money and over even like the impression people have of me. And I don't think it's that hard to do.
Yeah.
I really just don't think it's that hard to do.
Yeah. I think,
So I find myself really not having a lot of sympathy for leaders, people who chose to be leaders of communities, but then don't want the responsibility that comes with it, which is to be a leader, to have integrity, to stand up for what's right, to pay a price if that's what needs to happen. I thought we all knew what the assignment was. Um, I really did.
yeah.
And here we are losing our democracy
Yeah.
in front of our eyes.
Yeah.
And still, people are still like, I don't know, maybe the money. What about my job? Like, I just can't find it right now. I cannot find sympathy for folks. I think they need to find their courage or lose the respect because they don't deserve it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you do not have something to say about what's happening in this country, if you do not have something to say against this administration as a leader in any capacity in this country, I have no respect for you.
Yeah.
It is gone.
Yeah.
You can get it back. You cannot care about my respect. Of course, many won't. But that's my message to you. If you can't stand up now, after everything we've seen, I really don't know what to tell you other than look in your heart and your soul and see if it's still there. If it's not, go find it. We need it. We need everybody's heart and soul and courage now,
Yeah. Yeah.
where the world might fall into utter chaos. Um, I just, I'm just at a breaking point. It feels like we're really on the cusp of things that are irreversible. I think some of the damage is irreversible. If I'm a foreign country, I mean, I listened to Donald Trump make fun of Emmanuel Macron. I think I sent it to you. Maybe you got a chance to see it.
So,
I think he was talking to House Republicans. He just mocking the leader of France, who is 10 times the man he could ever be.
yeah.
I mean, Donald Trump is a fool. He doesn't know anything about anything. I'm not confident he could find Venezuela on a map. And I mean that dead seriously, or Ukraine. And and it's fine. And the support continues. And I'm supposed to watch all this happen and be like, but some Christians are okay. Some Christians are not for this, just like some Christians supported MLK, just like some Christians supported the feminist movement and women's rights, just like some Christians support the LGBTQ community. Some Christians support immigrants. Some Christians care about international law. Some Christians care about human rights. That's just not enough for me. That some Christians are able to find their way to caring about things, to caring about people, other
Yeah.
people. It's not enough for me. I'm going to need to see a lot more changes in the Christian church and in Judaism and in Islam to think that these are things that should continue, that these are things that are good for humanity. I'm not at all convinced.
Right.
And if what's happening with ICE, if an ICE agent can kill a woman in broad daylight, get away with it, and worse, blame the victim, call her a domestic terrorist, which is what they've done,
Yeah.
and what they will continue to do.
Yeah.
And MAGA supporters will get on board.
Yeah.
And they will say, yeah, that's right. She should have listened to police officers. She didn't listen.
That's right.
What was she doing there? Why was she causing problems? She was obstructing invest. I mean, we've been through this 100 times. We've watched something absolutely horrible happen, which is totally obvious. Who's to blame? Who's right? Who's wrong? And then because this movement, supported by Christians, can never admit to any fault about anything, then we have to rewrite reality to fit their narrative.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying I can't do anymore. I won't do anymore.